What are we in the golden age of right now? Getting famous for stupid-ass reasons. Board games. If you look at lists of the best board games of all time, 95% of them will have been released in the last 20 years. It's incredible. Yep, board game designers are really pushing that they can fit in a box with games frequently costing well over $100. Plus, in the last couple of years, legacy games started showing up. They tell a story and change over plays. It's getting really wild. Misinformation. Recent studies show that you are incorrect, and you shouldn't verify this statement. Convenience. Want food but don't want to move. Delivery. Want to meet up but don't want to leave the house? Call your friends for a convo. Want to entertain yourself at home? We have movies, video games, books, etc. My second job is delivering groceries to people. Seriously, I just got in the car from dropping off someone's stuff for Instacart. I make so much money just because someone doesn't want to go to the store to get their groceries. It's handy for disabled folks like myself. It's not always just lol I am too lazy. As the old saying goes, born too late to explore the earth. Born too early to explore the galaxy. Born just in time to browse memes. All jokes aside, I think current-day meme culture is something that, despite its negatives, is pretty unique and will be looked back on many years from now. I do wonder if future generations will be still interested in memes, or if memes will become this generation's dad jokes, outdated humor, instant gratification. We are out of it, but the internet before it had become monetized like it is today. Like when YouTube had no ads, streamers, or anything like that, and was just ridiculous random ass videos that could be browsed with no BS recommendations. Amazing times that will never be seen again or known by any other generation. I remember it well. It was amazing. I used to visit an internet cafe in the mid-90s and just spend hours surfing the web. There were no giants like Facebook or Google or Amazon. Just a million little sites, all made by some kid who checked a HTML book out of the local library, and all packed with passion for whatever their subject was. Podcasts, serialized fiction, true crime, horror, pop culture, news, critiques, and everything else under the sun. If there's an interest, there are probably at least a half dozen podcasts covering it. Beer. There has been such a boom in the past decade, or at least I know here in the US, with so many craft breweries popping up and cool experimentation going on. Incredibly ignorant vocal people. There have always been village idiots. Now the village idiots have internet access and a means of sharing their stupid on a large scale. We are in the golden age of unfiltered misinformation, and these idiots can now find the idiots from other villages and collaborate on their idiotic ideas online, thus forming virtual idiot villages insulated from scrutiny and shamming. Free oxygen. Enjoy it while it's still free. The Lorax was prophecy. Narcissus, monsieur. I assume you're referring to me. TV shows. Breaking Bad and Chernobyl are number 1 and 2 in IMDb, I think. We're long past Breaking Bad now. Don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic show. It just doesn't really fit the question. Edit. Better choice of words. How sure do you think an 8 is? Also, Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad's prequel spin-off, is still airing and it is absolutely excellent. I wouldn't necessarily say it's on par as Breaking Bad, but it's definitely far more enjoyable at some points. Some say the golden age of porn was the 1970s. I say that was the golden age of producing porn. We are now in the golden age of consuming porn. I mean, Jesus Christ, name any Hollywood superstar and somebody used a sophisticated AI to plaster their face onto a porn star. If that's not the futuristic world I wanted as a child, I don't know what is. Heck, name any Hollywood superstar and you can instantly pull up a meticulously collated record of every single time their titty has appeared on screen in their entire acting career. Tabletop RPGs. Kinda crazy to think about how D&D was basically just shorthand for nerd in popular culture only a short while ago. Now it's still considered nerdy, but quickly becoming more and more popular outside of traditional geek stereotypes. My friends and I just started a campaign for something to do during COVID and absolutely love it. None of us have played before or look like the type that would normally take away food. 10 years ago you could choose between a crappy curry, a terrible pizza or laughable Chinese food, and you probably had to go and pick it up for yourself. This in a second-tier English city rather than way out in the sticks. Now I can get literally hundreds of different things delivered to my door. And some of it is actually good to eat. A golden age indeed. Music. So many genres and subgenres everywhere you look. Nearly no one has the same favorite song or artist. It's amazing. I know taste in music is subjective and unique, but, in my opinion, feel free to disagree. I feel like the golden age of music is past us. Every genre I prefer listening to had better music back in 60s, 70s. I am not saying the music today is bad. Some of it is for sure, but not at its best for Monsieur. Edit. This just an opinion. I don't mean to harm anyone else's preference. We are all allowed to love the music we connect to. Also, I don't specifically just mean rock. I can see how that'd be confusing. I meant all genres. I mean no harm. Maybe another way of thinking about it is that we are in the golden age of access to music. Even though your music taste is more in the 60s, 70s, you can access all this music just as easy as today's music. Greater than every genre I prefer listening to had better music back in 60s, 70s. That's because you're seeking genres from the 60s and 70s. If you are more open to new sounds, there's never been a better time to find new music. I find a new artist I enjoy every month or two, and I couldn't put most of them in a genre you can find back then, at least not strictly in the genre unless you're talking as broad as rock. Bullshit. 2020 is the gold age of bullshit. Fake outrage. Hashtag HOWDAREYOU. I feel attacked by that, and nothing short of an apology, resignation from your job, and exile from your country will atone for hurting my feelings for a second. Or, I could suck it up, ignore it, and move the fuck on like an adult. Golden ages. Just look at this list. Also, the golden age of lists. Hell yeah, this guy fucks. Probably at the start of VR golden age. At some point in the not-too-distant future, pictures of us wearing VR headsets will be looked at in the same way we look at pictures of people in the 80s using huge cell phone bricks. I feel like the tech isn't at the level it could be. I think we might be 30 to 50 years out from a real South situation. Probably much less. Modern consumer VR hasn't even been around for 10 years. And the difference between the Oculus DK1 and the Index is incredible. Haptics and tracking are getting cheaper, and more games are being made. Obviously, brain-computer interfaces and shit are an entirely different thing, but I think that's a lot closer than many people realize. Music. I'm dead serious. No other time in history came with a consumer ability to look up any and every genre and play it immediately from any time period. Social media allows for anyone to create and put their music out to the masses, giving even ordinary individuals the ability to share their talents. You don't have to like genre artist X. You can switch to whether you desire at any time. As someone who loves music, I'm very grateful to be alive when I am Monsieur. Yep. Saying we are in the golden age of music doesn't necessarily mean that the best music is produced. Right now, the best music doesn't even exist. It's all personal opinion, but being able to access millions of songs, soundtracks, etc., for either free or very cheap on demand is something new. Probably being able to earn from non-conventional ways. Fine arts skill didn't mean shit, but now you can start an Insta page, YT channel, etc. If you like fashion, you can start a blog. Matt Stoney makes millions from eating food. which might just have been a party trick in 90s. Big fan of cinema. Just start a review recommendation page. You can pretty much earn money from anything that you do good if you are smart in promoting it. That's not always true. There will always be a vast majority of underachievers and mediocre talents who don't really excel in whatever they want to do. Whether that's reviews, foodie or YouTube streaming. You'll only hear about the greats who excel in their platform and are extremely profitable. 90% of everyone who tries will go unnoticed, ending people's careers for a joke they made 10 years ago. Drinking water. There are currently over 7.5 billion people drinking water. That's more than at any point in human history. Stupidity. Weaponized stupidity. There have been dullards for eons. Before social media, all you had to do was just not be within earshot of them. Now the internet has given them all a megaphone, and clever people have learned how to herd them and get them making the right noises and voting irresponsibly based on hate and tribal BS. Animated movies and TV shows with adult target audience. Rick and Morty, BoJack Horseman, various anime, various other Adult Swim and Netflix animated shows. Until now there were only Simpsons, Family Guy, Futurama as widespread mainstream adult-centered cartoons. I agree, but how could you forget about South Park? Forgot about it? Because they never broadcasted it in my country and I've seen only few episodes. But yes, it definitely belongs there too. Online piracy. Seriously, there has never been this sheer volume of high-quality content being created and stuffed behind paywalls. Whether it's TV shows created for streaming exclusives, or stuck behind a paywall like South Park has been. Music, movies, video games. There's a lot. It's incredibly good quality, and there are plenty of places to pirate this stuff. The ethics of piracy are a different discussion. Complex and completely fractured streaming platforms means we're back to a point where piracy is actually more convenient than simply paying for content. I have my server. All my home computers are connected to it. I can download 4K torrents directly to the server and watch everything immediately on Plex. Sure as hell beats having separate subscriptions for HBO Max, Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, DCU, Prime Video, Crave, and Crunchyroll. Fake oppression. Gaming. For sure. Maybe not AAA gaming, but it's never been a better time to be a budget gamer. Big hits from the past are cheaper. There's games like Terraria and Monster Hunter 4 that can give you hundreds of hours for under $20. And PC players have the past at their fingertips for free with software like Dolphin and PSX2. As far as new games go, however, I would definitely argue there's a few good titles in an endless ocean of crap. AAA gaming at its heyday from roughly the early 2000s to the early 2010s emo. Even long-running yearly series like Pokémon and Call of Duty were putting out great titles in the early 2010s. Science and technology. Humans have gotten so good at manipulating physical phenomena to their will that we can make magic come alive, so to speak. Take smartphones. The sheer amount of physics and engineering behind a simple smartphone is breathtaking, even though we take them for granted. Take the detection of gravitational waves. We measured waves in space-time. If that's not impressive, I don't know what is. We are able to look at the atomic world. We are pushing every day the limits of computers to simulate new materials and come up with innovations. And we are even working in a new form of computers that uses subatomic properties to compute. Quantum computers. This is how good humans have come to be. The drawback is that every new challenge is very, very difficult, and you will even notice that in research papers there will always be more than 3 authors because, as opposed to a century ago, no works alone because the problems are just so freaking hard. It's hopeless to think you can do it alone. Science and technology has never had such a relevant part in society. And COVID came to reveal that harsh truth to some. I hope it changes the world for the better. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.